Hey, this is indeed Walt from the Comic Book Men, and you're listening to the iWalter Show.
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky, it's a bird brain, it's a plane, it's iWalter. Yes, it's iWalter, strange visitor from another planet who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. iWalter, who can change the course of mighty rivers, bend ears with his annoying voice, and who disguised as Walter Interranti, mild-mannered janitor for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth, nonsense, and the American way. And now, another exciting episode in the adventures of iWalter.
Hey everyone, this is Walter from iWalter on February 29th. Yes, it's the leap year, so we get one more day in February, which is fine with me because I'm born in February, so I don't mind. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I've came to the conclusion I am not going to try to, at least for now. I'll forget, trust me, I always do. But I always forget, make sure that I don't prep anything, because when I do, I end up screwing up severely and the show sounds horrendous. Now, I've been living in the bathroom today because I hate to tell people this. It's a little bit, what do you call that? Too much information kind of deal. I went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I swear that stuff just goes through you the rest of the day. But the only thing is, I hate to say it, Buffalo Wild Wings is one of those places that I do not get acid reflux. I get it everywhere else, but most of what I eat, it doesn't matter what it is. I actually bought, it was so expensive, it was $34 for a case, which I'm sure my parents will drink it all before I even get to touch it, was this stuff called Penta Water, which is supposed to be really good. I remember I worked at this place called I Got It at Gary's, and the guy that owned it, the Gary guy, would recommend, when it first came out, he says, you got to drink the whole bottle at once. It's really good for you. It's this stuff called Penta. It's like $4 or like $2 or $3 a bottle. But I'm like so desperate to try anything just to maintain my weight and actually fix some problems, even my hair problem, which is something totally different. So anyway, I didn't watch, I caught myself. I didn't want to bother to watch those Oscars last night, so I didn't. I only watched it with Lady Gaga, and I kind of regret even doing that. I love Lady Gaga, but she's another one. It's just she's changed her style altogether. Now she's so liberal. It's driving me crazy. Now a friend told me, well, knowing this means you're not going to buy her records or go to her concerts anymore, right? And it's like, well, I don't know about that. So I'm being a little hypocritical because I do love her music. I didn't think her acting was that great, though, when she was in American Horror Story, but I did like her music. But her newer music is just so liberated, so liberal. And last night when she was on the Oscars, it actually really disappointed me because I know she was like that in the past. She was a little bit of a radical. That's just her way. I'm going to find my mouse real quick, make sure this thing is working. So I don't mind that, I just kind of turned the other cheek with that. So, but the problem was she went as far as, it's really what's pushing towards having Hillary get in office. That's the story I want to mention too. Oh, great. My phone's ringing right now. So give me a second to turn off my thing. You can hear it right now with that bad thing. So yeah, I just turned it off. And I don't feel like stopping. So, she's doing this thing where, she always kind of supported, gay and lesbians because she was bisexual and stuff, Lady Gaga. I don't have an issue with that. I love the woman anyway. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to say, I'm not going to be a hypocrite about it. But then she's, bringing up gay, lesbian, and abused women. It's I'm so fucking tired of hearing about this, women being abused. I don't even want to leave my house anymore. I'm telling you, I try not to leave my house unless I absolutely have to, because every time I do, I got these young girls and these women just looking at me like I'm some type of creep that is going to rape them. And it's get that out of your fucking head. And I blame this on the media, the press, and just these people in general, like the liberals are taking over everywhere. And, I mean, I heard the other day, I'm going to have to go this direction because I already started with it. I heard the other day that I'm trying not to believe it. I'm so depressed right now. I am like so a mess about this whole story that apparently I was hoping that Bernie Sanders was going to clobber the crap out of Hillary Clinton, which I was really proud or would be happy of. I don't like either one, and I'm getting tired of this whole thing about the Republicans just fighting amongst each other. It's gotten so out of hand now. It's really just depressing. I mean, I'm at the point now I don't even know what to do because, my party is just like they're fighting amongst each other. And the Democrats are, you got a person who, you got the one guy who's just a vice president who's a freaking big mouth, which he was on the Oscars last night. You got a president who is a complete socialist, and he gets away with it because he's a black guy. And then you got another person running for president, Bernie Sanders, who's also a bleeding heart socialist communist man, which I'd prefer him because at least I would have a fight. We would have a fighting chance beating him. Anybody would. Over top of Hillary Clinton. And it seemed like for the longest time, I've seen people with these Bernie Sanders stickers and buttons on their, on their lapel, and it's like, okay, you got a bunch of people who really support Bernie Sanders. They don't know what the man stands for, but they're going to support him all the way. Like these college kids. I mean, I was in college at one point. I was a little naive about facts, but at least I could see beyond the bullshit. These people have no fucking clue what's going on. They're like totally mindless people. And it was like, well, at least, as dumb as they are, they're dumb enough to at least vote for Bernie Sanders over top of, which I don't have a problem with. I'd rather see them vote for Bernie Sanders over top of Hillary, because Hillary, you got Benghazi, I believe, where all those people got killed in that embassy, and she was held accountable, and so was President Obama, but they're not being held accountable for their actions. And you have Hillary Clinton, I mentioned this in a message to a friend today, who her and her husband set up all these fundraisers where they pocket 90% of the money goes in their pocket. And they get away with it because who they are. And apparently, I've heard over and over again from Rush Limbaugh, listen, most of these people don't like Hillary whatsoever. They can't stand the woman. So it's like, oh, thank goodness. At least we have this fighting chance that we're not going to get Hillary Clinton because she's so hated. They're going to vote for a bleeding heart communist over top of her because they just can't stand her. Well, guess what? That was true for a while there, and I think it was just, and I'm really afraid now, they were just doing that just to eventually that they, even though they were voting in that direction for her, that eventually they're going to just settle down, and they're not for Bernie Sanders, but they're actually going in the direction of Hillary Clinton. So Rush was saying for the longest time that Bernie Sanders was slapping the shit out of that woman on getting the most votes, and was like, oh, great, because we have a fighting chance. And I'm kind of almost, personally, I'm a little bit sick and tired of everybody bitching, complaining about Trump. Now, I'm not saying the man's a saint, but I don't know. I mean, and then today I'm like listening to Rush Limbaugh, and he's saying now the persons that the people that we thought were really good, which I still support, which would be Cruz and Rubio, especially Rubio, he was just like going back and forth, and he was being a moderate. I mean, I love Rush Limbaugh, but he was being a moderate on Rubio and saying, well, this man, he's backpedaling on what he's saying or saying stuff all over the place, like you can't trust. It almost sounds to me, I could have gotten that wrong, which I think, because I was listening to him live, and I hope I did. I think I got that completely wrong, but now they're like lashing out on Rubio, and it's like if they're not lashing out on Trump, they're lashing out on Cruz, and if it's not Cruz, it's Rubio. And it's like, honestly, if I had a choice, number one would be Rubio and Cruz, number two would be Trump, but I figured like we might have a better fighting chance with Trump than the other two, even though I prefer them. That's the only reason I was supporting them. I mean, supporting Trump. Because you need somebody, you need just to get that Republican, whoever it is, you need to get a Republican just to get your foot in the door. And right now, I mean, he made a valid point, Rush Limbaugh, that if you get Rudio, at least he said Rudio. I don't think he said that about Cruz. He said that whole, it was, which he's out of the picture, which I never liked him, was Jeb Bush. He said you would see the whole thing with the illegals being legalized. I forget exactly the term he used. That would be the first issue that would take place. He would basically push for the illegals in this country. And it was like, wait a minute. Okay, Rush said this today. I'm pretty sure he did say that, folks. That he was saying that the whole legalization of illegals would just be the first thing he would make sure that would happen. And he was saying that about Rudio. So that was like, okay, I have a friend who really likes Rudio, and I believe that because I heard, even though he's a pretty young guy, that he's pretty much, they were putting up there as being like on the Reagan, basically with Reagan, what he would, was like a Ronald Reagan follower. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. That I want to hear, and I would like to see Rudio get it. I did not want to see, I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly, I did not want to see Jeb Bush, because I saw the name Bush at first, and was like, oh, wow, I just went by the name. Okay, Jeb would be pretty cool. And then I heard him talk, and I was like, listen, I don't want Jeb in here because he's just going to legalize all the illegal immigration. Now, Rush did say something today, what I have to agree about 100%. The one thing we don't want to say, Rush said, I tell you, we should put this on the table. If you want to legalize all these illegal immigrants in our country right now, which are causing all this havoc and destruction and murders and rapes, he said, well, allow them to become American citizens. I forget what you call amnesty. That's the word I'm looking for. Amnesty. Pass the amnesty bill, but then make sure they can't vote for the next 20 years. After that, they can vote. After 20 years of being in the country. And it was like, you know what? I would probably go for that. But, obviously the Democrats don't want that. And I forget where I read that, folks. But, yeah, now you hear that these Democrats and the people want to make sure before this election this November, they want to make sure they can legalize and make it available for these illegals, these illegal immigrants from all these other countries, mainly Mexico, to be able to vote by this election. Why do they want that? Because they can't stand Ted Cruz, and they have this brainwashed mentality that they're going to get everything, which they do already, actually. They get everything for free. So they get health benefits, they get welfare checks, they get EBT, they get the whole 9 yards in one sweet little package, and they don't even have to do anything. All they have to do is cross the border, and they don't have to leave. So that really bothers me. And, and it's just like the way the Republicans are just fighting against each other right now is just making it even worse. I mean, it's not getting any better. It's getting far, far worse. And it's just opened the door now for somebody, like I mentioned, like Hillary Clinton now, to be able to win the presidential election. So you're going to have, at this point, another 8 years of hell, and it's going to get just worse because you got all these women, these young girls, and these guys that basically have no penises any longer that believe that they're going to get everything also of their choice handed to them on a silver platter. When it comes down to it, the only ones who are going to make out far ahead of anybody else are the illegal immigrants and probably certain minority groups, which would definitely include the women. So the bottom line is, majority of the people in this country that were born and raised here as Americans, they're all going to be fucked. And they don't see it. They're so stupid not to see it. And the thing that just really drives me crazy, though, and that's not hard to do, but this, seriously, this drives me insane that people are just this pathetically stupid, is all this stuff, all this negativity that is factual, it's not even stuff just pulling, wool out over people's eyes. This is the actual factual truth on what Hillary has gotten away with. She's actually had what Rush used to call the bimbo eruption, where Hillary, every time her husband was pulling his pants down and putting his dick in every fucking woman without their consent, she would make sure to track them down and destroy any possibility of these women actually making anything out of it. Like, it was called the bimbo eruption. And that is really pathetic. So you got that. She's got away with the bimbo eruption. She got these people when she was not our ambassador, what was she? Secretary of State. She got away with not doing jack shit and not helping the people, including Obama and anybody else that was responsible, held accountable for that. Of those people in that Benghazi embassy, all those Americans getting brutally killed. I mean, in the most horrific fucking way. Nothing was done, and yet you got people supporting her. You got now these women who think that she's for them. She hates most women. She is anti-woman, and she acts like she's not. She acts like she's going to support women's rights, which she's not. Once she does get into office, if that is going to be the case by January 2017, and she'll be our new president, all people see are, the women see, oh, we got the first black president, now we got the first female president. Well, you're not obviously thinking at all, because all she's going to do is corrupt more of what's going on. She's going to make it even worse than what's going on right now. I mean, if I had a choice between her and Obama, I would have picked her back then, but I've already had 8 years of him. I don't need 16 years of both of them. And that's where we're ended up, because we live in such a sad society where people are just, and I can't even walk outside anymore without getting that look that I am obviously somebody you have to look out for, because I'm the white Caucasian that everybody reads about and hears about on the news. And I constantly hear about my parents, like my father and everything. He was going off how the blacks now want to basically, they're all upset on how they didn't win any Grammys or anything else, or the prior one to the Grammys, how they're not being treated right. The black rights matter more than anything else. It's like you have everything handed to you at this point. For most of the black Americans, they got everything they wanted. They got a black president. They get jobs, most of them, which probably don't even deserve them. They just get it handed to them. And that's the same thing for most of the white females in this country. And, basically they're the two top in the United States. They get everything they requested, hands down. Because all they have to do is cry rape. And now you got the whole thing, which I really do, and it's getting more and more difficult. I try to support even these, transgender and, I'm trying to think what else. Transgender, the homosexuals. I keep an open mind about it. I try to, and what do I get in return? Ridicule and disrespect over and over again, like I'm being the bad guy. You got to watch out for that white guy. He's the one who's repressing us. I read these articles constantly on all these places I have marked on my Facebook for like political news and everything. Every freaking article is about how the white man is keeping down and repressing women, transgenders, homosexuals, and also black Americans. And it's like, you're the one controlling everything in this fucking country, and now you're telling me I'm the one I'm not even doing anything. And it's just like every freaking white male is being repressed to the point that now he not only no longer has a penis, he doesn't even have a voice, and he gets attacked on everything. And the people who support these militia groups that are, quote-unquote, the American minorities are like these women and stuff. they're the ones getting attacked by minorities themselves. They're getting attacked by all these minorities. If they're Muslim, Black Americans, they're attacking not only the white male, they're attacking these women who say that it's the white male who's doing all this crap. It's actually not. So I look at this stuff, and it just gets me so angry every time. And I'm listening to Rush today, and he's just, like he said, I never supported, which he hasn't. I'm not going to blame the man for that. He hasn't supported Rudio. He has not supported Trump. He has not supported Cruz. He's been keeping pretty ambiguous about that. And it's like, I don't want to get involved in this because whatever I say is going to come back and basically blow up in his face, which it has now. But while this turmoil is going on, what is happening in return? We're getting more and more people now that are going to be supporting Hillary Clinton. So we're going to have a worse situation, if that's possible, where our deficit now has doubled, probably I think actually tripled from what we were left with, which has still been blamed on President Bush. So my question is, are we going to have 16 years of the Democrats running everything in the office and still blaming Bush 16 years after the fact? Because that's what's going to end up happening. And it's like there is no stop to this disaster that we call our country that's going on in our economy that's just being destroyed. And you got like the lowest common denominators basically running everything. And the only reason that's happened is because they're pushing through to allow these illegals to basically get everything, including the right to vote in our fucking country. So I'm like looking at this, and it's really depressing. And here's a good story. It was from Joe the Plumber, and it basically said Muslims want the company that they work for to bow down to their demands. The company ends up firing them all. So, and I tell you one thing, it's probably a U.S. company by no doubt. And these Muslims basically take over all our industries in the U.S., and they destroy them, and now they're asking, okay, we want our rights put at number one. We don't give a fuck about you. We came in your country illegally, or you allowed us to come in your country with open fucking arms, and now we're telling you what to do, these companies, what you need to do, and you have to listen because you have no choice in the matter. And I'm like looking at it. I'm sure that's what it's about. I have not read it, and it's just fucking ridiculous. And I saw this article. I'm not going to read it because I told you I'm not going to read any articles. I'm just going to guesstimate on this point. And the bottom line is, these are the fucking companies that are destroying our nation. So, I mean, not the companies, these people that they allow in. And who's letting them in? Our government. So, I'm trying to look for another one. I had a story. Maybe I'll just get out of the way right now because I thought it was pretty funny to lighten up the mood. They said a homeless man was at the Oscars on the red carpet last night, and it turned out to be Rob Zombie. Now, Rob Zombie's only 2 years older than me, so he's like 51. And he looks horrible sometimes, but I've seen some shots. He's not that old. He's actually pretty young. And he just looks really bad. So, and I can't get a meet and greet for the man anymore because I waited too long waiting for my one friend who twiddles his thumbs not to give me a response, and now the tickets had sold out. So anyway, what else was I going to mention? And I did post up again on my Facebook page because I can't push that up enough. It says the best of anti-Hillary ever made. It was basically from the Cruz group. They made this brutal video of Hillary Clinton smashing up a computer because of those emails. That's another thing with that fucking woman. She had released information. She had information that was classified information left wide open for everybody to see, and she's not getting in trouble for that. That woman should be in prison. She should not be running and telling what this dictating to our country as the next president. She should not be able even to run for president, yet she is. So I don't even understand that. That just shows you the stupidity, the caliber, the level of stupidity in our country. Now, here's another story that I found just to prove white against black crime. And this one's really bad. I didn't realize it's just a video, so I'm going to have to just go back and see what it says. It was from Bill O'Reilly. He posted this. It says, an unspeakable tragedy. A cop murdered on her first day at the job. It was a female cop. And she was 28 years old. Ashley was her name, was sworn in that day before she was shot over the weekend. It was a black guy, a black American, who had killed her on her first day at the job. So she was just sworn in as a Caucasian cop, got killed the first day of her job. I mean, you hear about this stuff, but you won't hear about it on the news. It was posted by Bill O'Reilly, though. I am not trying to attack black Americans. I'm just stating that right now you've gotten everything, and then you got, I'm trying to think, because I actually like him, Will Smith's wife, who's bitching and complaining, who started all this bullshit about, oh, we don't get any awards, we're being repressed. It's like, you get everything. You got that fucking job on Gotham, which you were a horrible character they had to make just because you're, what do I say, Will Smith's wife. They had to make a character that didn't even exist in the comic books just to have you on there, that Fish character. I refused to watch Gotham. Then they got rid of her. They killed her off, and then she was bitching and complaining about that. Oh, they got rid of me because I'm a black woman. It's like, that's bullshit. So they had to bring her back. They said, oh, we never killed her off, because they don't want to deal with that, the ridicule they're getting for killing her off. So now they're miraculously going to bring the character back and put her back on Gotham. It's like, guess what? That is one fucking show I'm not going to watch now. I have enough shows to watch anyway. I don't need to watch that. I mean, I love Batman and stuff, but I'm not going to watch some show where it has to be politically correct. So that really pissed me off, too. I'm sorry for going off about this stuff, but I just can't help it. And there's another story. I think I found it. It was Matt Hawley, I think. It says, woman pleads guilty. It was on the morning call to setting newborn on fire. Again, I hate to say it. I'm on a rampage right now. A black woman, she set her child on fire. It's like, why do you do that? If you don't want to have a kid, just give it up for adoption. That poor kid didn't do anything to you. Mount Holly, New Jersey, the woman pleaded guilty Monday for setting her newborn on fire and leaving her in the middle of on the New Jersey street. 23-year-old woman. It's like, listen, you know what? People like that should get the death sentence right away. I don't care if you're white, black, Martian, or even you're from Gallifrey. I don't give a fuck. If you kill some kid by setting it on fire, you end your life right then and there. There is no reason that you should be able to live any longer. There's another one that was ridiculous. It says CNN, Carol Costello of Oscar Nonstop Racial Commentary. Please stop and let me enjoy this. Between Chris Rock's blistering opening monologue and his final triumph shout of Black Lives Matter, Sunday night Oscars telecast with Stunned With. I'm not going to read that. Now, I like Chris Rock personally. I really like Chris Rock. I think he's fucking hilarious. But the stuff they said was appalling, what he said. Now, there's another guy, I think it's Chris Tucker. I think that's his name. I got to look him up. I like him, too, because I think it was in that movie called The Fifth Element, which I want to buy now. It was on BBC at like every 2 hours last night. I'm just making sure I get it right, because no, it's not Chris Tucker. I don't think it's Chris Tucker. Wow, he really put on some weight, that man, because he was a really skinny dude. Chris Tucker's voice is very annoying, but he is fucking hilarious. Now, I hope I don't read about him. I have not yet. But yeah, he was the one in The Fifth Element. He really changed a lot. I like Chris Tucker personally. I'm looking for that movie because that Fifth Element was it was really hot, that movie, the girls in there. And Chris Tucker actually stole that movie. So, I mean, there's a lot of actors I have a lot of respect for, but when I read all this stuff about black Americans attacking people the way they do, it's just getting to the point now, it's really depressing. To the point that, oh my God, you're really making me change my mind. I'm sorry, because you're making me lose respect for a lot of people just for the way you act, like children. So I'm looking actually for the Fifth Element right now, because I watched it a little bit. And it was like, yeah, that movie's like, the main actress who plays in Resident Evil, she was really hot. And then looked really good back then. He changed so much. I'm trying to remember his name. The one that was on Moonlight and everything. I like that guy. It's on sale this week at Best Buy. Remastered, enhanced. Blu-ray disc, remastered, Best Buy. Bruce Willis. He really looked good back then, Bruce Willis. Yeah, I can't say her name. Mila Jovovich or something. She was really hot back then. I mean, she's still not bad looking, but oh my God, was she hot back then. And even those girls in that movie were just incredibly hot. Yeah, it's on sale this week for $15. Free shipping at Best Buy, but I can get overnight if I go to Amazon. I never actually honestly watched the film. They even got the still book version for $22 I don't think it's worth $22 for a steel book. Those steel books are kind of a waste, honestly. All it is literally you're buying a steel book. So, yeah, I mean, $14.96. Maybe I'll just add it and buy it now. See if there's any other copies of the movie. Yeah, The Fifth Element. I don't know if it's the remastered version. I'll look at that. That was an interesting movie. Honestly, I really did like that movie. I was watching again. Oh, that was another thing, folks. I just bought a new TV yesterday. Actually, on Saturday. It's boredom. Trust me. I'm not gonna. I plead the fifth on that one. Well, no, I'm not pleading the fifth. I'm fessing up to it. So anyway, I read a lot of articles and they're saying, oh, yeah, 4K is the best way to go. You should go 4K because it looks better than 3D. Honestly, sometimes it does, but sometimes it really doesn't. So I went over to Best Buy. They had it on sale. Actually, around Christmas, they were selling 4K 55-inch TVs for $500. They used to be like $1,500 to $2,000. Now, the reason for that was, guess what? 4K hasn't even surfaced yet. It is going to, the networks now are slowly changing over the 4K, believe it or not. A lot of these TV networks are going to be changing over the 4K. Best Buy, the guy showed me, they have now 4K Blu-rays coming out. They do have one 4K Blu-ray player that is coming out. It's $400. I think it's by Samsung. And they're slowly going to say that eventually 4K is going to replace pretty much high definition. It's going to be mandatory eventually that, you're going to really need a 4K set. So the TVs have dropped, but there's a reason for that, because guess why? There was two different articles I got. One from Fortune that says that 5K is coming out before even 4K hit the market, in full force, in full throttle. They're still working on getting the network set up for 4K. And a lot of this is because Dell now had placed out a 5K monitor that is actually whipping the shit out of Apple's high-definition monitor, which I am using now. So apparently Dell just cut to the chase, because Apple actually did put out a couple 5K monitors for their all-in-one computers. So Dell jumped on that, and they put out 5K 27-inch monitors that are probably cheaper, and the resolution is 5120. So if that's not bad enough, 4K hasn't come out. I just bought a new 4K set. They're actually now talking about that it's not going to stop with that. There's going to be actually 8K resolution, which is double 4K, which is even massively bigger. So it's going to basically replace even 3D TVs. They still do make some, but you won't even need any more. When they come out with the 4K, but the 5K and this 8K, because they're not going to make 6 and 7. They're making, it says right here, I got a chart. It says that it's going to replace high definition altogether. It's going to go SD, FHD, 4K. FHD is basically, I guess that's high definition. 4K, 5K, 8K. So that 1080, or what is it? The 1080i is already dead. That is definitely completely dead. So, folks, I got to take a little bit, pause for 1 second when I turn on some lights and around the house. Because give me a minute, and I'll just say I'm back again. Okay, now it's working. I couldn't get it to work where I was trying to I am back now, by the way, so I'm just saying that. It kept on playing instead of letting me pick up where I stopped recording. So anyway, I just had to turn on a few lights. It's getting dark out. I did buy a 4K 50-inch television set just the other day. I actually bought the Sony one, by the way, because they said it was 120 hertz. It was like, oh, great. So I got a 120 hertz Sony TV set, which they claimed would work with your PlayStation and everything. And it was like, because it's a Sony. I got a PlayStation, so yeah, it should. So anyway, here I am, and I got it, and the quality on the 120 hertz Sony, which was more expensive, actually, believe it or not, looked like total dog shit. I mean, the picture was horrible. It did not look like 4K. It looked far worse than what I had or still have, because I'm trying to get rid of it now, was my 42-inch Samsung. So, and that reminds me, too, I forgot about this. It said on a slide note, I was going to mention this. Reporter grabs Secret Service agent's throat at a Donald Trump rally. Anyway, different story. I'm not going to read it. So, I got this Sony 49-inch TV, and it was like, okay, the quality is supposed to be much sharper and better, because I said, well, I told the guy at Best Buy, that's where I got it. I got it at the Best Buy over at King of Prussia Mall. I said, I personally really like the, ones. I personally would rather have a Samsung. And he said, well, it's only 60 hertz. You want 120 hertz. It's better. It's got better refresh rate and everything like that. So I looked into that because it was like, okay, I listened to this guy at the store. He was a real nice guy, and he told me to buy this 120 hertz Sony, and I got to get this out of the way right now. I can't help it. Doctor Who said their next companion for Doctor Who is going to be a Muslim chick that played on some other show, and it was like, if you do that, that's just ridiculous. The whole 9 yards, a Muslim girl. It's like, come on. Peter Capaldi's Time Lord, one name in frame will be familiar on the BBC soap. Oh, she played in the EastEnders. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So anyway, I'm done with that. I just got to get it out of the way. I like this picture, by the way. I got it from Overpass for America, and it shows a sheep looking at a TV monitor. It's not real, and the TV monitor has the Obama emblem on there, and it's like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. So anyway, I got this TV set, and the guy says, I doubt you're going to return it. I actually bought, it's worth the money, I think. Not the last time, because my last TV was a Samsung, and I got to shut this monitor off. I got the 5-year warranty. I've only had the Samsung for only like 2 years, so a little over a year and some change. So I didn't get the benefit out of my 5 years. I got 4 years left on this older TV I have, which is only a 2014. It's not even that old. So I ended up upscaling because I wanted the 4K. I know my one friend, Matt, said, oh, yeah, he has a customer he has. The guy just bought a new TV set because he heard how great 4K was. And I was like, you know what? Actually, I'm kind of interested in that, too. It does sound like it's better. The quality is much sharper. Give or take, it really isn't, because I asked them at the store, I said, I got this TV set, and it doesn't look any better. They said everything's going to look like so spectacular if you get a 4K set. It's going to make even your regular TV look like it's better than it ever looked before. Well, then they admitted to it. They said that's not true, because most of your cable stations, even because I got a digital box for high definition for my cable. Well, my cable box will still, the highest it will show the resolution is 720p. So that's high definition for cable, 720p. Now, with the 4K TV sets on my PlayStation now, it does upscale everything very much high, a lot higher than what it was before. So that is true. It won't upscale, though, anything that is on cable at all. And the channels it does upscale, though, is unfortunately going to only do it no higher than 720p. So it's not like a real big, oh my God, I'm doing well now. My TV looks so much better. No, it's not actually. So, but now on the PlayStation, it does look good. Now, here's what I got to finish out, which I haven't yet. I ended up buying the PlayStation. I'm trying to think. I got the PlayStation 4, and it did not work good with Sony. The regular TV looked like total garbage. Now, most of the stuff I watch, honestly, is all streaming. So that's not a big issue. I mean, 99% of the stuff I have is all streaming video, so it's not a big issue. So, but the 4K, though, I was like, okay, but it says it's going to make your TV look so much more spectacular. Well, guess what? That's not the case at all. I'm moving my mic around. That's what you're hearing. And it actually, in some ways, made it look far worse. Now, on the Sony TV set I got, the 120 hertz, it looked like total dog shit. Sorry, I shouldn't do this. I'm typing in something. Yeah, it looked like total dog shit. I'm not even kidding. It looked horrendous. So here I am. I went online because the sales run from Sunday to Sunday, and I didn't want to lose out on this. It was like, okay, so I'm going to order what they told me not to buy, a 60 hertz Samsung. Now, the quality on that, it was an inch bigger from the 49 inch, looks incredible. It looks really good on everything. Now, the whole thing, when you see that, they're playing a game now. Samsung is, Sony's doing the same thing, because I looked it up. They're going to say that Sony that I got, the guy says it's 120 hertz, actually was not. It's only 60 hertz. So that's fine, though, because here's one thing they won't tell you, though. A 120 hertz is only really effective. You're going to see the difference. It's not on your cable box, not on anything else you're playing, even if it's upscaled. The only where you're going to see 120 hertz take effect, according to one article, is if you have a 3D set. 120 hertz and 240 hertz only is very effective if you have what's called active 3D on your TV set, which I do not have. You know, I heard there's only like a half a dozen movies that are 3D, and how many times you're going to really watch this? Probably not that much at all. So, that being said, I know I'm typing as I'm on the air. You're basically wasting your money. So, that being said, you don't really need 3D, and as the TV sets get progressively higher quality, like with the resolution, the need for a 3D set is going to become less and less, because 3D, basically all it does on the 3D you see in the movie theaters, it just makes things look sharper. It actually looks like you could reach into the TV set. Well, if you're going with resolutions that are 4K, 5K, and 8K, that's not going to be an issue anymore, because the resolution is going to be so high, it literally looks like the objects that you're looking at are going to look like they're popping out at you. I'm typing still. I shouldn't be doing this. It's just my short attention span kicking in. So I'm sorry. I just had to finish that out. So it's going to be, I mean, you can buy, but it's going to be just like, okay, basically all you're going to be doing is you're just going to be showing off like, oh, look what I can do because I got a 4K TV set. That's all it's going to do. As far as quality, I mean, as far as the need for a 3D set, it's basically you're wasting your time and your money. So, that being said, the need for a 3D set is just more money. Now, if you want to get a true, by the way, because I didn't realize this, I found out the hard way. If you want to get a true high definition set at 120 hertz or 420 hertz, guess how much you're going to be paying? You're going to be paying, I think I saw one TV set, and I think it was like not that big. Well, now, believe it or not, 50 inches is standard. You're probably talking about, let me see if I remember correctly. You're probably talking about $10,000 for the 240 hertz. It might even have been a 68 inch because they do come up to 70 inches now. So the bottom line is you're basically only wasting your money on buying anything, and you really don't need it, because the only where that 240, 120 hertz actually makes any sense is if you have, again, a 3D TV set. Now, the thing is, you're talking 4, 5, and eventually 8K TV sets. Do you really need anything that high? I mean, do you need a 3D set? Probably not, because, again, I read enough articles. They said that 3D TV sets actually look fine the way they are. You don't really need the 3D for those, because the TV, even your standard definition set, if it does upscale the channel, and that was another thing I was going to mention, folks, like Hulu, and I mentioned this, I think, earlier, Hulu and Netflix, I think it's 11, the guy told me that, so I looked it up. It's true. You can get one TV set with Netflix. You pay $12 a month, and you get so many devices you can play your set. Sorry about that. That you can play your, you can play Netflix on. That's number one. And now number two, though, you got one TV set. You can watch things in 4K. So they are already pushing that. Like I said, that is definitely a thing they are pushing, that you pay $12 a month, and that gives you the option, like, as I have a 4K TV set now, on that one TV set, I'll be able, when I watch my certain TV shows on Netflix, I'll be able to watch them in 4K. Now, I don't normally watch Netflix that much, so it may not even be worth it. And honestly, upscaling from my regular 1080, the 1081 TV set to now the 4K, I have noticed, like, even on older shows, because that's because of Netflix, it is also because of having a 4K TV set, which the PlayStation, they try to say that's not the case. The PlayStation, now, I don't know if I mentioned this. I am going to mention now. I did change out my TV set for the 60 hertz 4K Samsung, which looks 100 times better. And by the way, I don't know if they may not tell you this. Sony PlayStation not only is cooperative with your 4K TV set, but your remote control for both the Sony TV set and definitely more so, actually it works more, it cooperates more so. If you buy the Samsung 4K TV set and you have a PlayStation, you don't even have to use your joystick. You can use your Samsung remote control to maneuver everything on your PlayStation 4. I mean, I don't think you really want to play a game with a remote control, but the possibility is definitely there. Like everything, like the PlayStation, when I had that, only a little bit worked with the PlayStation 4 and the Sony TV set. Now, on the other hand, with the Samsung, everything on that remote control, everything works on the PlayStation 4 with the Samsung remote control, which is unbelievable, and on the TV set. So that part is like really nice. In fact, I think the Samsung is much more cooperative on handling things than my Sony was. So the Sony looked like crap. It was on 120 hertz. When that was the thing I have to get back to too, because I forgot to mention that. I read some article where they said it's how these companies, including Sony, lie about their motion rate. They say they use the word motion rate. Sony uses another word, but they say, oh yeah, Sony has everything at 120 hertz. And they said in actuality, the 120 hertz 4K TV sets from Sony are actually, in reality, are only running 60 hertz. They lied about that. Now, again, Samsung uses something they call it motion rate that says that it's running 120 megahertz motion rate. No, it's actually running 60 hertz. But do you need a 120 hertz on a 4K? Absolutely not. You can run it at 60 hertz, and it's fine. Now, if you're running 3D programs, they said the reason you want the 120 hertz to 240 hertz is because with the active 3D with your glasses, it basically has a shutter in the glasses. Like it opens and closes one lens at a time on your glasses. That's called active 3D. And you can't run it on 60 hertz because it's going to look jumpy. So you need at least 120 hertz. On regular TV, your eye's not going to see the difference. It's not going to be able to differentiate what's going on. So you're fine. But, again, if you're going to be running standard 4K, you don't need it. So the whole marketing scheme that Sony and I'm trying to look for it, see if I did have it posted. It's not that important because I'm talking about it now. But that whole 120 hertz for 240 hertz it's all lies. So when Sony says, oh yeah, this TV set's 240 hertz, they're charging you more money, it literally is actually only running at 120 hertz. But they're saying, oh, we got this thing called motion rate that says it's running at 240. It's either Samsung uses the terminology of motion rate or whatever. And I don't see it right now. Again, it's not that important, but just keep in mind, if you do a Google search, you will find it, and you will see that that's all a bunch of propaganda. So all TVs, I don't care what you buy, they all run 60 hertz unless you got a 3D set. They can't get away with it. They have to run 120, 240, either or. So when they say you got a 120 hertz TV set, literally all you're buying you're only buying 60 hertz. Not a big issue. If you're buying a 3D set, yeah, then I'd be kind of a little bit concerned about it. So I'm just trying to make that, note it, that people, hey, watch what you buy because you probably are going to actually be ripping yourself off. So I didn't know that. I found out, like I said, by doing some research. Am I upset about getting the TV set I have? Not really, not at all. I actually really do like it. I got a clearer view, actually. On the PlayStation, it looks phenomenal, but I would not, again, recommend the Sony TV set. I would recommend the Samsung. If they tell you, well, the hertz are smaller, basically just agree with them and just buy it anyway, because you're really going to be wasting your money. So I found out, once again, the hard way. I'm trying to manage my credit card since I have it all completely screwed up. Okay. No payment, 165, 112. So they haven't credited back my account for the one. So I should be getting money back on my credit card for the one return. It hasn't returned yet. So anyway, just to let you know that Best Buy, by the way, if you buy a TV set like I did, you're going to end up, you get 24 months to pay off whatever you buy. So yeah, I got a TV set. I got the 5-year warranty. It was an extra $200, but I figured, you know what? I'll just deal with that later on. So I'm actually going to make a payment now. Let's see, 112, 24 months. So yeah, I'm going to pay the one right now. Anyway, just folks, I'm sorry I shouldn't do this while I'm on the air. I constantly make this mistake, so I apologize. So, yeah, the one thing, like I said, what you want to do is you want to make sure, if you want to buy a TV set that's decent, just keep in mind, I made this mistake. I could return. I got a 15-day return policy. But I like this set. This 50-inch set is not bad. A lot of people actually now are buying for standard size because they're so cheap. The 4K 20-inch TV sets because they're actually kind of not much difference in the price. So just keep that in mind, though. What was I going to mention? But yeah, you could actually get a good price. If you look around the 4K right now, beginning of the year, they're trying to get rid of a lot of them between last year and now. If you get your tax return, you can buy a 4K 50-inch or 55-inch for there's one that's actually up for like $500 still because it's on clearance. Now the difference was actually it's a 49-inch, but the thing was it was a Samsung. It's a really good set. It only had 4 HDMI connectors, which I would have bought that one, but I need 3 HDMI connectors. I needed 4. So it actually cost me a couple $100 more. Otherwise, I would have bought the cheaper set, which would have gave me exactly the same everything else I have. Now, again, the PlayStation looks phenomenal. Right now, I'm watching what's called the Alfred Hitchcock Presents TV series, which was kind of wild. I didn't know that, folks, but the original Alfred Hitchcock series that he did was a half-hour shows. Believe it or not, I did not notice the shows. The season lasted 38 episodes. So I didn't know that. So that part was kind of cool, and it was like, wow, 38 episodes for one season. That was actually really good. And on my set, though, with the Sony PlayStation and the 4K set, honestly, it looks phenomenal. It looks really good. So I would recommend that you can get a 4K TV set, and it's going to look incredible. So despite what people say, what I've said, you can get a 4K TV set, and it's going to look really, really good. But just keep in mind that 4K is going to be pretty much put by the wayside within the next year or so. So that's why. And the only thing is, I got to give them a plug again, is Best Buy, though. When you buy stuff there, folks, if there's a change in price, which the prices on the 4K sets are dropping drastically because of the 5K coming out, they will give you back, if you use a Best Buy credit card with the 24 months, which is 2 years to pay it off, they'll give you the money back on your card. Just keep an eye on it, because sometimes they're not going to let you know, like, hey, we had a price drop. We want to let you know that. No, they're not going to tell you that. So, and by the way, there's some really cool stuff out there. It's just the technology. I thought they were done changing things. I'm going to look again. What's going on with Samsung? But, yeah, just keep in mind when you buy a TV set what you're getting involved in. Keep an eye on the prices. Again, the one I got was, I think it was $800, but I got 24 months to pay it off, which is like $30 a month, so that's not too bad. But, yeah, there's a 48-inch Samsung I'm looking at right now. If people are interested, I'm going to add that to cart, see what it says. $549. So, yeah, that's not bad. The only thing is, it was a downfall. The TV was incredible. If you want to get it, they have them at Best Buy at that price. It only has 3 HDMI connector ports. Because I use mine personally. I use it for my cable box because it's high definition. Oh, yeah, and Samsung calls it motion rate. That's the one who uses that motion rate. But so does Sony. They use the same terminology, and don't be fooled by it, because they're saying 128 rate, which is literally actually only 60 hertz, which doesn't make a difference unless you're running 3D, as I said before. So I'm just checking one thing for myself. Yeah, 3 inputs. So if you can get away with 3 HDMI inputs, go for that price. It's $500 for a 50-inch or 49-inch, which is technically 50 inches. It's 49-something for the Samsung TV. And, yeah, it looks very sharp. Personally, in my opinion, with the Samsung TV, if you have problems with your eyes, I actually was getting a little bit of eye irritation with the Sony one. I do not get any irritation with my Samsung TV set. And again, if you buy it now, you got 2 years to pay it off. So you got till 2018 to pay off in full whatever you buy at this point. No matter, when you buy it this year, you got till 2018. So that's a good sign. So anyway, folks, I just wanted to, I know I just said that. I wanted to finish my show up. I hope that it was okay. Again, I try to stay away from reading stories. Whoops, I just bumped my mic. And, I haven't done one in a while, so I wanted to do one tonight. So thanks again if you're listening to me. I hope you enjoy what I talk about. Try to get other people involved. I actually picked up another country. I forget where it was. So that's pretty cool, too. Not a very high percentage, but a small percentage, but I'll take what I can get. Thanks again, and have a good end of February day, because now leap year is going to be over in a few hours. So thanks again. Have a good night. I'm signing off.